Harry's tragic situation after having a headache trying to break into the celebrity world. Hello everyone, welcome back to the King YouTube channel. Royal renegade Harry left his family and he failed as a wannabe American celebrity, and now experts claim all that stress is turning him bald. Spencer Stevenson, the hair transplant specialist of Spexhair, notes that Harry appears to be suffering from more than male pattern baldness, and he suspects the anxiety from his family feud is to blame. Stevenson says, due to the high amount of stress he must have been through in recent years, it will have definitely negatively impacted his hair. Definitely the relationship with his estranged family is not helping on top of male pattern baldness. Two recent photos have triggered all of this discussion about Harry's hair. There was a headshot of him with a thick, luscious head of hair in an ad for the mental health site BetterUp. But just a few weeks earlier, we saw him with much thinner hair while he was out shopping in Tokyo. According to Stevenson, Harry most likely used thickening fibers from the product Nanogen for that photo of him with a lot of hair. In other news, there is a source claiming that King Charles is hesitant to speak with Harry, and there could be a few different reasons for this. We could ask, what would a monarch of 15 countries have to talk about with a person who resigned from supporting his own father? Harry has already proven that he doesn't consider any conversation to truly be private. He's more than happy to broadcast his opinions on what was said or what he meant to say to the public. Harry's also admitted that his memory is not really the best, and he often changes his mind about what was said after he's made a public statement. Any changes are not the result of a miscommunication either. Instead, Harry claims it's always because of a misinterpretation by the media. It just takes him a couple of years to realize that the media misreported what he said. Remember, Harry abandoned his job as a working royal, but he still expected to be paid an allowance for doing diddly squat. Now, his father did pay him an allowance for almost a year after he resigned. His father wanted to give him a chance to establish a new career, but it seems like that agreement was for 1 year only, or until Harry decided that he was established and wouldn't be returning. Interestingly enough, though, the date that he made the statement that he wouldn't be coming back and the date that his allowance was stopped are remarkably close. King Charles and his wife, Queen Camilla, are very busy. They've got a full schedule. And Harry doesn't have much to occupy his time, obviously. So Harry has a lot of time to focus on these perceived slights, and he publishes then what he believes. When the family was getting ready for the death of Prince Philip, Harry launched an all-out attack on them, and he kept on attacking them and what they represented, while still wanting to enjoy the privileges of their position. It doesn't make sense. Harry also told the whole world that he was the late Queen's favorite grandchild, that he was her confidant, that she could tell him things she couldn't tell other people, and he had to make sure that she was being properly advised. At the time, though, Harry lived 6,000 miles away, and he had very little to possibly no contact with her. Both Charles and William, on the other hand, were frequently in contact with the late Queen, as were other members of the family, people who were still working on behalf of the monarchy. But Harry, from his way-off location, and thanks to his very limited communication, believed that he knew what his grandmother wanted. He understood her interests better than anybody else. Seems like Harry just wanted to ignore the fact that when he left a lot of extra work for other members of the family. They had to take on that work, but they were the ones that he thought were giving his grandmother such bad advice. And then there were other things that happened too, but they're similar, so they just repeat the same story over and over again. Apparently, Harry believes that he should enjoy the same privileges as his older brother, but he's not going to put in any of the work. At this point, any contact the king would have with Harry is probably going to become public knowledge, where only Harry's opinions are represented. Does the king want to have private conversations recorded and then spread all around the world with only a biased view being reported? Or does he want what most of us want, for private conversations to stay private? When the king invited Harry to come to important family events, Harry really started demanding all this stuff for his attendance. Well, he was ignored because, of course, anybody is going to ignore something like that. Harry was irrelevant, and so Harry would come without his demands being given into. And if they did give in to his demands, then it would be at the level of personal interaction. Considering Harry's track record, it is probable that his version of the private conversation would be included in his next book or interview or whatever, if not before that. Harry and Meghan have attacked and insulted both the king and queen, as well as the heir and his sister-in-law. And it seems like Harry really believes that he is justified in attacking his family. But see, they can't stand up for themselves. They can't defend themselves from what he says, and they can't even comment on what he's done. He's the one who started the attacks, and he has not apologized. But at the same time, he expects his father to agree to meet with him privately, and it's always on his terms. I can understand why the king doesn't want to pander to Harry. Recently, both Harry and William gave speeches when they were supporting the charities they sponsor. In both cases, these speeches were supposed to be about the charity, supposed to inform people about the good work being done. But Harry's speech was all about himself, and he tried to relate that to the Invictus participants, but why would they have cared? William's speech, though, focused on the volunteers, the good work they were doing, and also the benefits their work would have in the long term. William portrayed himself as a facilitator, helping the workers to get greater recognition for their efforts. It's a wonderful thing to see that William understands how to allow other people to take the spotlight, and how he can help support their efforts. It really is a crying shame that nobody bothered to tell that man baby no earlier in life. I know that Harry had many problems when he was growing up. He was doing drugs, he drank too much alcohol. Overall, there were so many cases of misbehavior, but still, he was a member of the royal family and he was loved. So it shocks me how low he has gone since he met and married that evil witch Meghan Markle. And I know, many people have told me that Harry has always been like this. The palace just did a good job of covering up his bad behavior, but still. I still believe that manipulative demon is behind the pure evil that has come from both of them. I'm talking about the books, the documentaries, the interviews. Now, the most evil thing Meghan has done is turn on her own family and teach Harry how to do the same thing to his family. And Harry, of course, is responsible for his own words and his own behavior. But see, he's a puppet. So she has trained him, she has conditioned him every step of the way on precisely what to say, and what to tell his ghostwriter to write as well. And she's going to make sure that everything Harry does benefits her little agendas, getting revenge against the royal family, trying to be a star, trying to get money. So thanks to some really bad influence from a really bad person, Harry has gotten himself into a sticky situation. At this point, I don't know that he can go back to his family, and that's what Meghan wants. She is more than content to use Harry as a means to her end, exactly the same way that she's used men throughout her life, starting with her father. And then when Harry's outlived his usefulness, she's going to throw him away, and she's going to stab him in the back, throw him under the bus, just the same as she did with her father. Don't forget to like and share my video with anybody else who would enjoy it. Please don't forget to subscribe to our The King YouTube channel to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely evening, and we'll be back to see you tomorrow. Bye. I love you all.